Pryde's Picks is spoiler heavy and full of crude language. I swear like a sailor, and Lockheed's no better. Consider yourself warned. Hey everyone, it's April 10th and I'm here with this week's Pryde's Picks. I have about 11 books to get through and I am going to challenge myself to do about a book a minute. So let's start off with some DC, move into Marvel, and end with some Image and Dark Horse. DC, the only 3 books I pulled were all Batman. So buckle in because we're about to spend some time with my fluffy friend the Dark Knight. In Batman issue 19, all the 19s that DC has put out have these WTF covers. And so it's a cover and then it centerfolds out and there's a WTF moment. So this one says, Bruce Wayne's greatest foe. And then it says, Jim Gordon. For the record, they stole my idea because in Death of the Family, I thought Jim Gordon should be the bad guy. So fuck you, DC. This book starts out all shock value because Jim Gordon is trying not to shoot Bruce Wayne because Bruce Wayne is holding people captive and threatening to kill them. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? If you stop and think about it, though, you will completely realize what the fuck is going on. Somebody is pretending to be Bruce Wayne. Who could morph into Bruce Wayne? Who could, like, do that with their body? Think about it. Big surprise. Clayface. Come on, guys. I wasn't too impressed. I might flip through it on the shelf. You guys can look at it. There weren't any moments in it that you really needed. And unless something good happens in issue 20, I will probably stay away from Batman for this arc because it seemed pretty boring and very overdone. Moving on to Batman and Red Robin. Now, once again, a number 19, so it has the WTF cover. And Red Robin, what the fuck? Carrie Kelly's back as Robin? What? So, apparently, when Robin died, everyone's like, Robin's gonna be back. And then when this came out, everyone's like, oh, Carrie Kelly's gonna replace Robin. Turns out she's only going to be around for a few issues, so don't pay too much attention to it. And she's really only in the first few pages of the book. What this book did have going on that I found incredibly interesting was Batman is grieving the death of Damian, and he goes to measures that you wouldn't expect to try to bring his boy back. Like you think the default, let's go to Lazarus Pit, dip his little ass in there, and everything's all better. He's going to try to baby Frankenstein himself a son. Red Robin pops in and tries to shake some sense into Bruce Wayne. And you should pick it up and check out what happened. This book wasn't life-changing, but I never thought I would see Batman sink so low to get his son back. So he really is grieving super hard, and it is worth picking up and reading through at least on the shelf. Finally, Batman, L Gotham. Now, I read Superman Family and Friends, or whatever it was, the other few weeks ago, and I really loved that book. It felt like it was made for adults, even though it was made for kids. This book, the art cannot be beat. It's all watercolor, every page, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's very clever the way it's drawn. Everything about it's adorable. Looking at the little superheroes and the little villains, so cute to look at. Story-wise, it's shit. There's a Halloween like little story, and then there's like a Thanksgiving little story, and it's completely made for children. I love childlike things, and I found this book hard to read because it was just so lame inside. It just didn't catch your attention. It didn't keep your attention, not the way the other book did. So the art style, pick it up and check it out. But the book itself, Batman L Gotham #1, wasn't worth the read. Let's skip over to my friends at Marvel. Now, Thor, God of Thunder, just went through this God Killer series, and now he's coming up against this guy called Gru, and he's a killer of gods. He's supposed to be the one killing gods. He's coming after Thor. He's been killing all these other gods. He's coming after Thor. Thor, from now, actually travels into the future, and he hates time travel, and teams up with Thor of the future to try to kill this guy. And Thor of now is like all smitten to find out Thor of the future is the new Allfather, and there's some hilarity watching his old self and his young self chit-chat back and forth and throw comments at each other. But overall, it didn't push the story arc too far, so just pick it up. You can definitely read it on the shelf and set it down, and until this book starts getting good, it's nothing to sneeze at or pay attention to. Moving on to Avengers Assemble. This is the AU Edition 14, which means it's the Age of Ultron tie-in. And this gives us an answer to the question we've all been wondering since Age of Ultron started. What the fuck happened to Black Widow's face? It starts out, she looks like fucking ScarJo, but she's got a jacked up face and she's covering it with her hair all emo Peter Parker style. And now we know what happened. This book gives you the chaos that ensues when Ultron strikes, like during the initial strike, because we haven't seen it. So far, all we've seen is what's happened after the attack. But in this, it shows her relaxing in San Francisco, hanging out with some friends, and then the strike happens and people are dying and she's trying to save people and she's talking about how it's her day off, but she has to be the hero for everybody. And you find out that the way that her face got fucked up was very moving. It was really cool because I didn't think about what was going to happen and how she got attacked. But what didn't rock was the fact that her face gets like fucked up and you see blood fly. In the next panel, you see her laying down and both sides of her face are fine. But then for the rest of the issue, it's covering her eye and covering her eye with hair, and then you see her face is fucked up. So I feel like they should have flipped those two panels because it kind of screwed things up for me a little bit. But it was cool to see how the world reacted to the attack and what people were doing in the process. So that was very cool to get like the panic and the chaos and the upset. Check it out, read it. It is kind of moving, and if you really like Black Widow, you're going to want to check this one out. Let's move on to Ultron, #1 of the Age of Ultron, so it's another tie-in. And this is about Victor, and I don't know if you guys know who Victor is, but I used to be a huge fan of the Runaways, and he's one of the characters in the Runaways. So Victor is made by Ultron, apparently, and he's the son of Ultron, and he's trying to fight his tendencies, and he's trying to be a better person because he had a mother who was a real mother, a human, and he's like, that's not who I follow. I follow my mom. I'm my mom's son. He's trying to save people and bring them to his little layer of like safety. And you find out along the way that because this is the Age of Ultron, everybody's been fucked up or killed verse, that all the other Runaway characters are dead. And so it was cool to see my Runaway friends and to see them in this. I wasn't expecting it at all. But the one-shot Victor's part in all this so far has been pretty lackluster, and I don't know why they did this tie-in. It ends with him being like, I'm going to fight back. Big fucking deal. Let's skip straight to Age of Ultron Book 5. Now, these have been coming out once a week. We've been following them together, and they are in the Savage Land. Everybody left over right now that is somebody is in the Savage Land, and they're going to what they think is Nick Fury's lair. Lo and behold, they open that thing up, and guess who's fucking hanging out in there? Nick Fury. He's all like, oh, what are you guys doing here? The second shit hit the fan, I ran out to the Savage Land. He totally says, I bailed on you guys, but I did it for us. And I was like, what a fucking twat. Like, he was just chilling in the Savage Land while people were dying. It was retarded. I was like, nobody thought to shake him or, like, at least, like, shoot him in the leg or something. Everybody's dying in front of them, and then Nick Fury's just eating Cheetos and fucking watching TV from his little lair. So he has a plan, and it involves time travel because they think that Ultron is attacking them from the future. So despite the fact that Marvel is saying this is in canon, this is happening at the same time as all this other stuff, and it's not an alternate dimension, and it's not another universe, they're saying that Ultron is attacking from the future. So they want to travel to the future or to the past and get his ass. Wolverine says they should go to the past and kill Pym. Let's just kill him, cut off his hands, cut off his head. He won't make him. But everybody else is much more like happy-go-lucky and thinks like the butterfly effect might kill everybody. So let's go to the future and find Ultron and stop him. So they kind of diverge, and that's where it ends. So I don't know what's going to happen. But this book, pick it up, look at what a bitch Nick Fury was. And so far, the last couple books of Age of Ultron haven't really tickled my pickle. But I'm going to keep following it to see where this goes. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging. Let's move on to Avenging Spider-Man #19. This is a completely useless book this week. All it did was pair up Peter Parker, Doc Ock Spidey, with Sleepwalker, and this fear worm has taken a hold of Doc Ock Spidey, and it's in his dreams, and it's showing him all his biggest fears. And then the Sleepwalker guy jumps into his dreams to help him out. Big team up, big deal. No big whoop, except for the fact that while he was in there all freaked out, Peter Parker was accessing his memories, which we've already seen. So there wasn't much in here that did anything to move along the story. You can totally skip this week. Not even worth looking on the shelf. But what I did enjoy was Uncanny XMen number 4. This book was cool because we've all seen last week the Uncanny X-Men showed up on the doorstep of the Jean Grey Students Academy, and they're like, anybody that wants to come with us, come with us. And Scott's like trying to defend his actions to everybody, and everybody's calling him a killer. And then he's like, we'll take any students you want, that want to leave with us. They can come live with us and learn how to fight. And everyone's like, oh, well, the Cuckoos are going to go with Emma Frost because, they're just going to follow her. They don't really belong here. They're not really happy here. And maybe we'll lose a couple students. What's going on in this book was awesome because that entire story is going on. That scene that we've seen is going on. But this is all an inner dialogue between the Cuckoos and Emma Frost. And the Cuckoos realize Emma Frost can't control herself at all. And she can't read their minds. And the only reason they're communicating is because they're projecting themselves into her. So then they start fucking with her because they feel like she abandoned them when they left. And we find out who the miscellaneous person was that joined the team. And I was wrong. It wasn't Jean Grey, but I was pretty close. So pick it up, check out who is defecting to the bad guys. Moving on to Dark Horse Comics, we have Buffy, Season 9, Issue 20. And this book is centered all around Xander, as you can tell, and how he feels helpless in this verse right now. The thing is in the Buffy series, my favorite episodes were the ones where Xander was just feeling helpless that he was a person, and I remember him and Dawn bonding over the fact that they were just people and there was nothing they could do but just be there for the people and pick up the pieces for their friends, the witch and the vampire and everybody else, and just be there to pick them up when they fell down, to rebuild the house and rebuild the foundation of their group. This book is the same thing. This book has Dawn got very sick, and Dawn is out of commission sick, but there is no magic in the world anymore because Buffy got rid of it. So Willow has gone to another dimension, and she comes back, and she does have a spark of magic, so Buffy's really excited because she's like, maybe you can help Dawn. Meanwhile, Xander gets taken by a couple of Buffy's villains, and they're trying to convince Xander that if he turns against Buffy, they could save Dawn. And not really turn against Buffy, but do something to stop Buffy at a certain time. And he says she'll never know, Dawn will never know, and he has this decision to make. Should he trust that his friends are going to be able to help Dawn, the love of his life, or should he go with the easy route and go with the guys that say it's an instant fix, you just have to come back in time with us? And I don't know, but Xander might end up being a villain because I feel like he's been pushed too far, and I feel like definitely if he loses Dawn, he's going to go Dark Willow over the edge. But I like when my favorite characters go a little dark because it's not what you expect, and you see them go beyond their boundaries, and he could turn evil. He could go like Dark Xander, which I don't know if that just means straight on pirate or not, but I was intrigued by this book, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and I hope Xander goes dark at least for a few issues. I could stand to see that. Let's wrap this week up with Image Comics, The Walking Dead 109. Now, as we all know, Rick and Jesus are going after Negan. They found out they have a guy on the inside, and this issue has them letting the townspeople know in groups that can be trusted that they are in fact going after Negan, and they're not just going to sit there. So Rick's going to his people, Jesus is going to his people. Jesus tells the blacksmith to make Maggie a knife, and then tells her that when the time is right, go talk to Cal because he's the guy he can trust on the inside of the city. And she's like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, this guy's trustworthy. Well, he tells Cal Negan's got a guy on the inside. And cut to later, Cal's gone missing. And Jesus is like, I should have known. What? This is just another filler. It's not filler, but it's kind of filler because they're not really giving me anything. Except now we know who we can and can't trust, and we think we can trust Jesus, but I still don't trust a man that calls himself Jesus. So I think all the shit's about to hit the fan maybe 2 issues from now. Maybe 1 if we're lucky, but usually they like to drag this shit on a little bit longer. So probably about 2 issues from now I'll finally see something worthwhile. Since Glenn got killed, I've been kind of bored with this book. Hold out, maybe pick it up, read it on the shelf. You're not missing too much. And let's wait to see who's going to betray who. So that's it for this week. I'm hoping I made my minute a book mark, and I hope that I didn't bore you with some of that DC and Marvel bullshit that's going on. But this week overall was pretty lackluster. There was only a few books that I was really intrigued with, and none of them were really a buy it now. I'll call April 10th a little bit of a flop in the comic book section. I will catch y'all next week with all new books, and if you get bored, look down below and check out some of my other videos. I've got videos from conventions, I've got videos from gameplay, I've got a crap ton of booty bin unboxing, so if you're bored, go let me upset you in some way or another by watching another one of my videos. And good night, everybody.